Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene. You guys are watching Lubed for January the 31st, 2024, Season 3, Episode 37. And that's right, that's what the title says, Flawless in January. The Edmonton Oilers did not lose a single game in the month of January. Absolutely nuts, absolutely crazy, absolutely amazing, absolutely loving this, man. Good times, lots of good times here. So obviously the Oilers wrapped up their last game here against the Predators and now are on the All-Star break and won't return until, I believe, February 6th, I think it is, against the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to go over the schedule anyway. Yeah, we're going to go over that. We're also going to do the rig report, where there has been some significance of difference. However, I have chopped it down to the month of January, whereas the first rig report, the inaugural rig report, was everything from October to the end of December. So it was kind of that whole. So it was the good and the bad that was in that. We're going to also go through the whole schedule of February, and then I'm going to break down the Golden Knights game that is coming up here on the 6th, where it's a tough one for the Edmonton Oilers to tie the NHL record. They're going to be in tough to do that, and they're also coming off that break. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be, we all have our fingers crossed that they will be able to pull off the win, tie the record, and then get another win and actually rewrite the record books. But in the meantime, we have to talk about the Nashville Predators game that happened Saturday afternoon, as it was Corey Perry's debut. We got to see the first of him, and I thought him and Holiday had a little bit of chemistry. I think they're going to figure out some stuff. There was a nice backhanded pass, but Holloway wasn't expecting it. But there's going to be some good chemistry. And we'll see what happens going forward into that. Anyway, let's break down that game that happened. All right, so we'll start off with the scoring summary, as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would open the scoring at 7:55. This would be a power play goal from Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. The power play is starting to wake up, which is a very good thing for the Edmonton Oilers. And it would just remain that way until the second period, when Leon Draisaitl would get the second for the Oilers at 11:39. And again, another power play goal. This is from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins. In the third period, the Oilers would make it 3-0 from Connor McDavid, getting his 20th from Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard. The Predators would rally for one with Colton Sissons at 13:25 from Luke Evangelista and Cole Smith. And then Zach Hyman would get an empty netter for his 30th of the year from Draisaitl and McDavid. And the Edmonton Oilers would win this game by a count of 4-1. I liked the game. I thought everything was pretty good. Like the fact that the power play is starting to wake up. The penalty kill is still doing good. And we're going to go over that right now here as we get into all of the game breakdown. We're going to start off with the shots on goal. The Predators actually had more shots on goal in this game, outshooting the Oilers 29-21. Giveaways, the Oilers, only 6 giveaways, but still, they are the team that seems to be giving it away more than the opponent. Power play, again, I tell you, they are starting to wake up on it. 2 for 3, 66.7%. So 2 goals on 3 power plays. That's what we are kind of accustomed to. And then we got the penalty kill again, 0 for 3 for 100%. It's looking good. Like, this penalty kill is really looking good. This was kind of their Achilles heel in the last couple of years, and both Knobloch and Coffey got them going in the right direction. And And actually, the power play coach, I forgot his name right now. I can't think of his name, but he's actually, I think, a massive contributing factor to why their penalty kill is doing what it's doing. When it comes to the face-off win percentage, the Predators were definitely better on the dot. 57.7 for the Predators. It's hit and miss with this when it comes to the face-off percentage. Some days the Oilers are about 57, and then the other days the opponent is 57. It's never, well, I wouldn't say it's never, but it seems to me there's a lot more that are in the higher 57, 57, 58. I've seen it as high as in the 60s. You don't see the close ones that often. I do see them, but just not that often. The goals against average and save percentage, Stewart has been lights out. And I was watching some shows. Should he be considered for the Vezina? And, well, a lot of analysts say no, there's about 5 other goalies that are ahead of him. And you also got to remember, Demko is pretty good. Even Shesterkin and well, I don't know how Shesterkin's been doing, but there is a lot of good goalies that are kind of front runners when it comes to that. So my stars for the game, I got McDavid first star. I'm going to take Skinner again. I think this is something like the 6th time in a row that Skinner has made the top 3 stars. And then Draisaitl. And we can't say that from previous years when Koskinen was there, even when Mike Smith. They would get in there 1 game or 2 game, but they wouldn't have a streak. Skinner is riding actually, the tandem. They are riding some streaks that have warranted me to add them as stars to what they have contributed. So a hell of a game. This brings the Oilers' win total now to 16, 1 away from tying the Pittsburgh Penguins' 92-93 record, as they will take on the Golden Knights on, I believe it's February the 5th. Let me just see here. Or February, when is it? February 6th. It's February 6th. And yeah, I think we got a lot of good stuff to witness coming forward. All right, guys. Well, the second edition of the Rig Report is here. And I've decided I'm going to make some shorts on YouTube as well. And I'm going to use the clips of the Rig Report and the February schedule. So in the upcoming days, you're going to see me release shorts on YouTube with the Rig Report and the February schedule. And we're going to try it out and see how it works. But without further ado, let's go into the Rig Report. Okay, and it's not switching over properly. One second. Okay. Just decided to not kind of switch over, even though it was supposed to. So this is the Rig Report for January 2024. So this consumes the month of January and how they did. The previous Rig Report was from October to December. So it says last month, but for this episode, think of it as the inaugural Rig Report. So it basically is the season to December 31st. I gave them a C for the power play percentage. They've struggled a little bit. They've kind of been on and off, and I give them a C. Whereas currently, this month, I'm giving them an A plus not power play. This is point percentage. I give them an A plus. They've been the best team in January in the NHL, hands down. So they get the A plus. When it comes to the shots for last month, I gave them an A. This month, I think they went down on this subject. I think their shots for has dissipated a little bit. Yeah, I gave them a C plus. They've actually went down quite a bit in the league. Let me just pull up, if I can, the Excel that I had here. And I'll tell you exactly where they were in the league, because you're probably wondering, well, where am I getting this information from? Okay. So where are we on? We are on the shots for. So yes, they were first. They were first in the league last, or throughout up until December. They've fallen back to 17th in the league in January. Now that's not a bad thing. It just means that they're obviously, because we can see in their defensive game, they're a little bit more structured defensively. So something's going to take a hit. So I'm okay with that. When it comes to, let's go into the next one, which is shots against. Last month they were an A. This month they are an A plus. They've really defended extremely well. They are second in the league for shots against. They were fourth in the league when I did the previous one. The power play. Believe it or not, the power play has improved despite what we are witnessing. And it seems like they are missing a lot of power play attempts, but this month they actually improved. I was kind of baffled when I'm looking. I'm like, am I doing the numbers right on this? Like, what is not making sense? Because it feels like the power play has subsided a little bit. But last month they were an A minus. This month, the power play, they're actually number one in the league for the power play at an A plus. And I don't know if I goofed on the stats here, but that's what I got here. And I was like, wow, really? Their power play is number one. And you got to think, this is the course of January. And I'm quite surprised. Here's a huge one. I apologize about that. I punched the wrong button. Okay, so we can move on to the penalty kill, where I was trying to do, but I hit the wrong button. Last month, that was a C, as they were 22 or 22nd in the league for the penalty kill. Not a very good penalty kill. Massive upgrade here, as they are now an A plus. The penalty kill is unreal with the Edmonton Oilers. They are number one in the league for the penalty kill. You went from 22nd in the league to the first in the league, which is crazy good. Okay, goals for. In the initial rig report, I gave it a B minus. Their goals for now actually has dissipated quite a bit. They are not scoring as much. We definitely can attest to that. The games are a lot closer. But again, I'm okay with it. As long as they're winning games, a C plus. It shouldn't be all about the offense. It should be, the team should be a very well-rounded team. Okay. They were relying on McDavid and Draisaitl too much, and we found out early this year, when those guys were struggling, the team is nothing, and you can't rely on those two dogs the whole way through. They're going to have their moments where they struggle. When it came to the goals against, last month they were a B. 11th in the league, or leading up from October to December. I keep having to remind myself to October to December. And going forward, it will be every month. This month, they are an A plus. Number one in the league for goals against. Like, it's amazing. It's an amazing transition of what we witnessed since Woodcroft, or since Knobloch took over for Woodcroft. It's really scary. And I remember when Woodcroft got fired, and how I was actually quite upset. I was like, oh, here we go again. Let's try another guy for another 2 years. But I think Knobloch may, knock on wood, be a keeper. Okay, save percentage. Last time the save percentage was, a fail. And basically, the way I did it last month, it was a little bit different. As I only chose Stuart Skinner because he was the best goaltender that the Oilers had at that point in time, and he was 69th in the league for goaltenders, which 32 is I base it off of 1 to 32. So it tells you how much of a fail it was at that time. This is incredible when you witness this. What Stuart Skinner has done, and well, actually both Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard have done. They've got themselves an A+. They are #1 in the league now. That month of January, the #1 goaltending tandem came from the Edmonton Oilers. Remarkable. Remarkable. Unthinkable. That turnaround there is probably the most impressive stat that I've seen on this rig report. Face-offs, they were 7th last month, and it was an A-, and they kind of stay at the same level. They are still an A- as they are only 6th. They've improved ever so slightly, but not very much. So the overall average last month, the overall grade was a B-. There has been a few hiccups this month, so I can't give them a total A+, but they do get the A. They do get the A for this grade, for this rig report. An amazing job. I can't complain. A few hiccups, like I said, when it comes to goals for, they've dropped quite a bit. When it comes to shots for, they dropped a little bit. So a little bit on the offense has dropped. Power play is still doing well, but it doesn't feel like it's doing that well, but it apparently is still #1 in the league. They're still, I guess when it comes to percentages, they're doing very, very well. So yeah, kudos to the Oilers. Kudos to their effort. I'm just thrilled to see where this team is going and what this team has potential to do this year. And now January is done, and we go into February, and we're going to see what the schedule is. I'm going to run through each game, and, well, let's do it. Let's get into it right now. Let me just make sure. Okay, here we go. All right, so they will play the Vegas Golden Knights on February 6th. That will be in Las Vegas. Then they will take on, who's next? Then they're going to head out to Anaheim for a game on February the 9th. And then they're going to play the Los Angeles Kings on February 10th. That should be another good game, too. That should be another good game. So you got Vegas and LA in the first 3 back. Divisional opponents that are looking to really trying to claw for positional strength right now in the playoffs. Then they're back at home, I believe, yes, against Detroit Red Wings on February 13th. And then they will take on they'll head out to St. Louis on February 15th. So 1 game out of those first 5. And then they're back on the road again. So it's kind of the scheduling makers do some funky stuff with their schedule. Every team goes through some stuff, but yeah, it's kind of an off one. And then they're at Dallas on February 17th. Head home, I believe, here to take on, they're playing Arizona on February 19th. And then they take on the Bruins at Rogers Place in Edmonton on February 21st. That should be another hell of a game. Boston is amazing. That again, we were saying this last year, Edmonton-Boston Stanley Cup Final. That could be another one this year. And then they're going to take on the Minnesota Wild, which seems to be always a problem for the Edmonton Oilers. So, guys, temper your expectations. I don't think the Oilers are going to have as good of a month in February as they did in January. I hope that they keep running with it, but let's be realistic. They got to lose some games here sooner or later. Then we go and they take on the Calgary Flames, and I believe, again, they will be wearing those heritage jerseys on February 24th. That'll be at the Rogers Place in Edmonton. And on February 26th, another matchup with the LA Kings. This time it will be at Rogers Place. And we go on to February 28th, and I believe this is the last one, as they will take on the St. Louis Blues. Actually, it has to be the last one because there's only 28 days in February. All right. So we're going to go with what's up next for the Oilers, and that is the Vegas Golden Knights, as I just mentioned, and what type of battle this should be for them. Let's just cue up that, and we'll go here. All right. So when it comes to, I'm going to just name out some of the stats that Vegas has been struggling lately. So most of their offensive stats rank from, what do you got, 14th, 13th, 18th, 17th, tied for 12th. So offensively, that's where they struggle a little bit. When it comes to goals allowed, they are stingy. One of their best stat actually is goals allowed, as they only allow 2.74 goals a game, which is 7th in the league. The Oilers, however, are 8th in the league right now. So they're neck and neck in that area. Shots allowed, Oilers are 4th in the league, allowing only 28, whereas Vegas allow 30.7. So realistically, when I look at this, the Oilers are favored to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. What scares me about this is the fact that they're coming off their break. Are they going to still be able to pick up their speed and keep going from where they left off? Who knows? Who knows? Stuart Skinner is expected to play that, and I would imagine for sure he will play that. His record, 23-9-1, 244 goals against average, and a .910 save percentage with 2 shutouts. Aiden Hill on the opposing end with 12-2-2 record, 1.94 goals against average, and a .936 save percentage. He as well has 2 shutouts. Obviously, the Oilers, well, they are riding on a 16-game winning streak. So for their last 10, it's pretty self-explanatory. The Vegas Golden Knights are 6-3-1. But they are very good at home, 18-5-2 at home. So that could be dangerous. But the Oilers are 13-9-0 away. The last time they played was on November the 28th, 2023 against us at the Rogers Place. 5-4 was the outcome for the Edmonton Oilers. However, the ones that really count was what happened last year in the playoffs, as we all know. And I don't need to reiterate that. This is a battle. I honestly, right now, I was thinking about this the other day. This, I think, is going to be your first round matchup. Because right now, LA starting, unless LA does something and change their trajectory, this is going to be your startup. I just can't see one of these teams catching the Vancouver Canucks unless the Vancouver Canucks have an absolute fall from grace. They're just doing too good. And that's not to sell the Oilers short. It's just Vancouver is playing extremely well. So that means these two teams, I think, will be the teams jockeying back and forth between second and third, regardless. One of these teams will have home ice advantage, the other won't. And we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Let's go into final thoughts here. As I won't be on for probably another week, a little bit over a week. I am going to add some new elements to the channel. I'm going to start trying to do some YouTube shorts, so that rig report will probably be a short coming out in the next few days. Also, the schedule will be, and all the other little content when it comes to the numbers, when it comes to armchair GM, and when it comes to troubleshooting. I'm going to try to make shorts on that, and I may even throw them up on TikTok and stuff like that, and we'll see what happens. Let's hope that the Edmonton Oilers can keep the momentum keep everything going. None of you guys have chimed in tonight, so I'm going to wrap it up tonight. And we're going to move forward. As always, guys, to those of you who are my current subscribers, thank you for chiming in, or none of you guys chimed in, but thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content I brought on this particular episode. As for the rest of you guys out there that are witnessing this for the very first time, if you like the content I bring, feel free to hit that like, share, and subscribe button and pass it along to your friends. I would love to have you guys chime in once in a while and give me your thoughts on certain trades. By the way, speaking of certain trades, I got a text message from one of my friends about an hour prior to shooting this, saying that Lindholm for Kuzmenko might be a deal, but Kuzmenko has a no trade clause and doesn't want to go to Calgary, and Edmonton may be a fit. We'll see what happens there. Other than that, guys, that's another rumor. There's lots of rumors going on. But other than that, I'm out of here, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week sometime. Not sure when, but sometime. And by the way, join Sammy and I on NHL Aftermath if you are just an NHL fan and just want to hear the stories of what's going on in the NHL. We'll talk soon, guys. Have a great night.